Hello, my name is Yani. I'm happy to share what I'm learning for assignment 2 of the evidence-based practice. I'm going to use the GBI's critical appraisal tool to criticize an article called Breast Education to promote maternal influenza vaccine uptake, a randomized control trial. This article aimed at measuring the effect of breastfeeding education on influenza vaccine among the pregnant women, and this study recruited 321 pregnant women and almost evenly divided them into standard care group and intervention group. The reason I choose this article is because I'm interested in whether the influenza vaccine is useful for pregnant women and what intervention that we can use to improve the influenza vaccine among the pregnant women. And I think this article can provide some useful information for my second question. This study is an upwards randomized control trial, so I'm going to use the GBS checklist for the randomized control trial to analyze it. According to the checklist, I found some strengths and weaknesses about this article. First of all, let's have a look about the strengths. This article makes a really good randomization when conducting the operation. The authors used the Stata 13.1 statistical software to generate an allocation sequence. The computer-generated list is a good way to ensure the randomization of allocating subjects, and to avoid the selection bias, the author used the block randomization. Since the subjects are recruited at 4 geographically dispersed public hospitals in Hong Kong, the geographic difference sometimes will cause the different characteristics among subjects, but the author used the block randomization to avoid the demographic difference. Another strength is the article implementing good concealment. The allocation sequence is made by an independent researcher who are not participating in the study, and the intervention assignments are placed in sealed and opaque envelopes according to the allocation sequence, which generated by computer. What's more, the study assistants who follows up the subjects are blinded with the intervention allocation. The concealment will ensure the outcome is not manipulated or interfered by the research personnel who may influence the real outcome for getting ideal result. Now let's talk the weaknesses about this article. It's unclear whether the subjects have the similar baseline at the beginning. Some articles argue that the level of education is an important reason that affected the vaccination among the pregnant women. Women who have a higher level of education will present a higher rate of the vaccination during the pregnancy. However, this article doesn't consider the educational level when it's recruit subjects. Although it manages to randomize the subjects evenly into 2 groups and offset the difference of the educational level, the sample size is small, so we cannot ensure the educational level will not influence the result. Another weakness is the pregnant women cannot access to influenza vaccine among the standard care group. They will just receive the routine checking about the maternal and fetal health without any information about where they can get the influenza vaccination. This will decrease the rate of the getting vaccine in the standard care group and make people believe that the education works on increasing the influenza vaccination among the pregnant women. To sum up, although except the briefing education, there are some other reasons to influence the study's result. This randomized control trial is reliable. This is because the computer-generated allocation sequence ensures the randomized allocation for the subjects. And in order to conceal the allocation to groups, the allocation sequence are placed in sealed and opaque envelopes. According to the real situation, the subjects and the researchers who delivering the intervention cannot blind since the form of the briefing education. However, the outcome assessors are blind. In this study, it used an independent researcher to follow up the subjects by calling them and asking the influenza vaccine situation. And the follow-up condition is good in this study. There are 321 subjects, and they're almost evenly divided in two groups. At the end, just the 9 subjects are lost to follow-up, which account for 5% of the intervention group. When doing the calculation, the study applies the intention to treat analysis. However, there is no detail about how the study get the number of the people that excluded for the intention to treat analysis. The outcome is also reliable in the study because the measurement is really simple. Subjects just need to answer whether they got the influenza vaccination or not. It's almost impossible for the subjects to forget whether they got the vaccination or not. And the answers are collected by only one researcher, so there won't have any measurement bias due to the interview skills or asking question skills. What's more, the article statistic analysis in this study is good. First of all, the study chooses the appropriate statistical methods, chi-square test, since both the outcomes and the exposures are category data. Due to the chi-square test, it cannot calculate the magnitude of the difference between the standard care group and the intervention group. The study also calculates the risk ratio, and from the result table, we can see that the p-value of the intervention to treat analysis is 0.006, which is significantly less than 0.05. So the result is statistically significant, and we reject the non-hypothesis, which means there is association between the breaking education and getting influenza vaccination among the pregnant women. As for the other interfere factors such as the educational level and the information about how to get access to the influenza vaccine, this is interfered factors are uncertain. Since I'm not familiar with the real local situation, but I recommended that the study consider these interfere factors and discuss them in the article. To be honest, I have no practical experience in influenza vaccination among pregnant women, but I'm interested in this field, and I studied health promotion in last semester for one assignment. I choose a topic about vaccine and read some articles and government documents that introduce the intervention on improving the rate of vaccine. This time I want to study vaccine in a specific population, so I choose the pregnant women. According to the previous study, I learned that education as an important intervention are implemented a lot to increase the vaccination. So I think pregnant women as a specific population, whether education will work on them, and are the ways of education same among the different population. Based on the reliable outcome of the study, we can see that education has a positive relationship with the influenza vaccination. The pregnant women who receive the education are more likely to get the vaccine, but for the ways of education is different. Vaccination for the general public is always implementing community-based education, but in this studies, the researchers choose the hospital-based education. This finding provides me some new thinking. When we consider different population, we need to implement a different way of intervention. Next time, I think I would like to study what the most effective intervention in vaccine among the pregnant women. Finally, thank you for watching my video. See you